Whoa!
Oh.
Surprise! It's us.
You didn't think it was us, but yeah,
it's us,
yeah.
and we're here, and we're back with another Titans recap podcast over our win against the Bengals today at home. What is up, AFC North? What you got against the Titans?
3 of you guys tried us. 3 of you failed. We got one more AFC North team left. This is our 4th podcast in a row doing a winning edition of the recap game. 4-game winning streak, people.
Like that's insane. It feels good. I love doing podcasts after we win. Don't you?
That's my favorite kind of podcast.
It's my favorite kind of podcast too. Okay, very quickly. Titans win today. This is our recap podcast, as we said.
Yes.
So, brief note before we get started. Guess what, guys? We have started a Patreon account. Now, what is Patreon, Justin? That's a good question.
I have no idea, but I'm glad that you're here to tell me what it is.
Patreon, if you want to know more, you can click the link in the description. But basically, it's kind of like a monthly tip jar subscription that you can help to support the channel. All of our content is free on YouTube. And honestly, now that we've reached the second half of the year, we've pretty much been doing this for like a year and a half now and haven't seen a dime from it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's just been out of true passion and love for the team, but that has run out, and so now we need to see money.
Yes, and we have fun doing it. We like doing it. We appreciate all the support. So if you feel like it, you want to help support the channel, you want to continue to motivate us to make more videos and put out more content in a timely manner, then feel free to check out the link. We would really appreciate it.
Yes.
It would be awesome. And we have 2 patrons so far. Want to shout them out.
Yes.
Mr. Speed Jacob and Mr. Nick Clem. Thank you very much for being the first 2 supporters of the channel. We really appreciate it. That is awesome.
Leading the way, leading the charge for this Patreon account. You guys are heroes. I'm very, very pleased. I was very happy to see that. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No,
say their names again. Say them again.
Speed, Jacob, and Nick Clem, the very first 2 Patreons of Titans Tube. If you want to become one, check that link. Seriously, we really appreciate the support. It helps us continue to do this and have fun and stuff and talk about the Titans for a long time. Probably way too long.
This is a team worth talking about, though. We're talking about a 6-3 Titans team right now, riding a 4-game winning streak. And would you say another ugly win? At least, yeah, I would call the Colts win. I don't know if that was ugly on Monday night, the first of our 4-game winning streak. But it was a very close game, and the Colts have not been a very good team. They're currently sitting at 3-7 right now. But yeah, the Titans just found a way to get it done again.
Yes, I mean the Colts played very well today against our next AFC North opponent, the Steelers. But we're not going to look ahead here. Today we're talking about the Cincinnati game today. 24-20 win over Cincy. Clutch 4th quarter drive to save it by Mariota and DeMarco Murray.
Yep.
Justin, we're going to go over some of our initial thoughts on the game, then dive into those Twitter questions, because you guys had a ton of Twitter questions that cover a lot of aspects of the game, so we'll probably talk about most of our stuff there. Anyways, initial thoughts on the game. What you think, man? You were there. You went to the game.
I was there. I was in the stands, and it was a good experience, especially in the first half. And man, this offense in the first half, really getting it done, especially, you know what, I thought Terry Robisky had possibly one of the best, if not the best, days calling the game today as far as calling plays for the offense. And I say that because in the first half, when we were lining up to run a play, I didn't know what we were doing. We were unpredictable. I couldn't tell what was going to happen, and it was working. We jumped out. We got, it was 17. We had 17 first half points. And then it stayed that way until our final touchdown drive in the second half. But again, Caleb, this team has not put together a complete game. It felt like we were shooting ourselves in the foot, bam, bam, and we left points on the board to be had, and we did not get them. Most notably, obviously, Rashard Matthews, big-time touchdown drop, and also Corey Davis. Oh, man, I love you, dude. I love you. But, man, what a crucial error to make, not holding onto the football as he crossed the end zone for that touchback. probably got a little too excited. He was like, holy cow, I have a chance to get my first NFL touchdown.
Just trying to do a little too much. Could have easily ran out of bounds at the 1 or the 2, but...
Big play.
I do appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
I got to say, I appreciate the effort.
He jumped in there. He threw his body on the line. It reminded me of like a Madden game where we always hurdle players and put our body at risk to be flipped 1,000 times.
I mean, we're criticizing him for hurtling into the end zone. It's literally what we do every single play in Madden.
Oh, yeah.
So he might have been watching our Madden challenges and been like, yeah, that's what I need to do because these guys are winning.
Yeah.
That might have been
exactly. He's probably one of the biggest supporters of our Madden videos.
Which, if you aren't, then you should be. Go watch that.
Yeah, shame on you. But those were huge plays, scoring plays that we should have had, and I feel like we could have put this Bengals team away in the second half. It should have been a bigger difference in the game. But you know what? A win is a win. The defense, I thought, played lights out. They were consistent throughout the game, and yes, they gave up 2 big passing plays, one to Brandon LaFell in the first quarter, and then that big one to AJ Green, which lost us the lead, but just temporarily though, because of a certain Mariota on the other side, leading a brilliant touchdown drive at the end of the game. But you know what? I can't fault them too much for that. When you got a guy like AJ Green, you can play great defense, but they're always capable of scoring. At any point when you're targeting AJ Green, that is what he does. That's what he's capable of doing. One of the best receivers in the game, and letting up a play like that's like it's football. And these are the best players in the world, and that stuff can and possibly will happen, and it did.
I mean, he's a mismatch. He's a mismatch for anyone that lines up against him.
Mitch
in the NFL.
Yeah, and it was getting frustrating in the second half. I'll admit, it was getting a little frustrating. It stayed 17-13 for a really long time until that AJ Green touchdown. And seeing our offense go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, over and over again, knowing that they have a player like AJ Green on the other side, and all they needed was one play, and it can completely change the game, and that's what happened. But man, you know, Mariota is continuing to prove that when you need a drive, you have to have a drive for a touchdown or just any points. If you need a field goal, Marcus Mariota, gutsy performance, can make it happen. I thought this was one of Mariota's most gutsy games, possibly of his entire career. He did have a bad interception, but man, he was getting hit a lot. He was getting knocked around, especially on that last drive. Mike Mularkey had to call a timeout just so he could keep Mariota in the game. He was taking hits. Offensive line, pass protection, and run blocking struggled here and there, I felt like, throughout the game. That could definitely, it could have been a different game had they played better. But, Mariota, what was it, 4 sacks against him?
I believe it was 4 sacks, yeah. But very McNair-esque type finish to the game for Mariota.
For
still
sure.
Feeling banged up, feeling the hits, but still staying in there and diving for the end zone in the fourth quarter. Guys, you know.
And Jim Wyatt on Twitter mentioned this, and it reminded me of this same play too when McNair, it's in a lot of old Titans highlight videos, when McNair does like a flip 360 in the air against the Steelers at home, like trying to get to the end zone. That reminded me of what Mariota did, diving for the pylon, even though Mariota didn't get that touchdown. But yeah, gutsy performance. Mariota laying it out on the line to get this victory. Inspiring. I am inspired.
Yes,
I've been talking.
It wasn't a perfect game by any means on either side of the ball. I thought the defense played really well. I mean, yeah, they gave up those few big plays, and the offense, they came out of the gates looking really well. I liked what you said about Robisky. I think the utilization of Adoree Jackson back there, Taywan Taylor early in the game really opened up the running game, which we've been missing, which everyone has been freaking out about for the past 2 weeks. It was back today. What we have total? Do you have those team stats up still?
I did,
total
and then my
rushing
phone went on sleep mode.
Don't put your phone to sleep. It's
right,
not
so
that late.
What do you want to know?
I want to know total rushing yards by our team. How many did we have?
We had 180 rushing yards.
I mean, we've been worrying about the rushing game. There it was right there. And not only that, we rushed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different people got a touch to rush the ball, including 6 rushes for Mariota for 51 yards. Adoree Jackson had 30 yards on the ground. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry combined for 93 yards. So I think just the change of pace with Taywan Taylor and Adoree Jackson back there, even as decoys, just opened up the run game more. And so I really think that was the key to getting the offense going early. I guess that Cincinnati made enough adjustments in the second half to kind of stymie that, or we kind of went away from it, tried to get back to our normal pound it. Style of play.
Sometimes it's hard to tell. Like, is it Cincinnati making adjustments to us, or do we just get kind of stagnant and relaxed in the second half and just have this kind of carefree attitude? Like, yeah, we got a lead. Yeah, we're outplaying this team, and then adversity strikes with AJ Green, and they're like, okay, suddenly our backs are against the wall. Time to freaking play again.
Yeah. And
then we march 73 yards down the field, eating up like the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
To finally put it away.
I mean, it was a gritty performance, I think, by the entire team. Yes, we made some mistakes, but we didn't let those mistakes, affect us mentally. We came back and we finished off the game. We made enough plays on both sides of the ball to win. That's kind of been the theme of this Titans team over this 4-game winning streak. Yeah, the games haven't been pretty. Yes, we're making mistakes. We're leaving points on the board. But when it comes down to it in the crunch time, the team is finding ways to win. Where in past Titans teams like this would find ways to lose, and we're working to improve. It's nice to see we can move forward with a W and still have stuff to improve on. It's not, everything's not just roses and dandelions.
It's not. You would like it to be. It would smell nicer.
It would, but I mean, as long as we're winning, that's what matters. And then we can move on and we can learn from our mistakes and keep on getting better moving forward.
And these are games that Titans teams just like 2 years ago would have lost in the past after that AJ Green touchdown. Titans teams in the past would have lost the game after that. And but we're in these games. Actually, I'll give a shout out. I watched the recap by another YouTuber who covers the Titans, MJ the Take. Gives recaps, makes videos about the Titans.
MJ Take.
The MJ Take.
MJ the Take.
I messed up the name. Sorry about that. But he made a good point about the Los Angeles Chargers. They're a team who are also in all of the games that they play. They are competitive. They're playing hard. They're playing more or less good enough to win a lot of games, but they can't finish. And what we're seeing is the Titans are kind of doing the same thing, but they are finishing. Yet you see the Chargers at 3-6, the Titans at 6-3.
Yes, take away a few key drives, especially the past few games, and the Titans' record could be flipped just like the Chargers. And those were the Titans teams of old. The culture is changing around here, and I like it. Obviously, we're not a perfect team. There's holes to fix and to fill. But as long as we're getting those dubs, keep on moving forward, keep it rolling.
Yeah, true that.
You want to move on to some Twitter questions?
Yeah. Let's do it.
How about
I'm going to take off these sunglasses.
Me too.
This shade of blue, this tint of glasses that gives us is tripping me out. Even though I love blue.
Yes. Once again, thank you for everyone who asked us a Twitter question, whether good, bad, ugly, funny, silly, whatever. We'll try to get to them all, or at least hit all the topics you
Offensive.
asked. If you're not following us on Twitter, why not? You should. At Titans_tube_YT.
Yeah, there's literally no reason not to.
Hopefully it'll enhance your life, especially on game days, because that's basically the only time we tweet. But anyways, let's start with Andrew Harrington, because I actually kind of like this question, and I think it's something we've kind of been talking about early. But Andrew Harrington says, are you frustrated by our inability to bury teams we are better than? We let the Ravens hang around last week. We let the Bengals hang around this week. I feel like we could have buried the game by the time the fourth rolled around. I agree.
Yeah.
I think we said it. Especially in this game, the Rashard Matthews drop was huge, and then the Corey Davis fumble through the end zone. There's at least... That's like 14 points right there. That could have been on the board.
Ryan Suckup missed a field goal. So, by the way, he broke his NFL record streak. I mean, it was going to happen eventually, but another 3 points that was left on the board.
Exactly. And same with the Ravens, because I thought the same thing. I thought when we were up 16-3, I was like, man, we're finally going to turn it on and kind of blow a team out that I thought we were clearly better than on paper going into the game. We let them hang around. The Ravens brought it back to 13-16. Everyone started to get worried, but we ended up finishing off the game with that late game sealing drive.
Yeah,
very similar to this
second game in a row.
Yeah. The problem is that the Bengals actually took the lead in this one, and we had to take it back.
Yeah,
but I mean, yes, I want to see the Titans, control the games and blow out teams they're supposed to. But when we're getting the W's, I can't really complain. I mean, every team in the NFL is good. You can lose. I mean, You can lose to anyone on any given day. These are NFL players on every team, you know?
Yeah.
So
Mike Mularkey likes to say there's no easy win in the NFL.
I agree. Yeah, you know, the Browns win was tough. They haven't won a game this year. I bet that like to have a really tough, ugly win like we've gotten the past few weeks. What did they?
There's a lot of teams that would die for lots of ugly wins that we have. I don't know if they would die. I mean, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, but and you know, it's I think I get into the problem of playing the compare game. You know, I check the Titans, the scores of the other games going on. I'm like, man, Titans should be blowing out the Bengals because they're way better. And I see the Rams pouring it on the Texans and the Eagles pouring it on Broncos
and the
last
Saints
week.
pouring it on the Bills.
Yeah, and I'm like, why can't the Titans teams do that? Why can't the Titans teams do that?
I wasn't going to go in that direction, but if the Titans can put together a complete game, I don't know if there's a team in the NFL that can beat us, just because I think, you know, we see the talent on this team, and if we're able to execute for 4 quarters, especially on offense, I think our defense is at least they're more consistent than the offense is in putting together a solid game. But if the offense can put together a solid game, we would be a very difficult team to beat, especially if we have very balanced play calling like we saw today.
Yeah, it would be unfair for the league, so that's probably one reason why we don't do it.
Maybe we're doing it on purpose.
We don't want to be too good. That'd be no fun for the viewers.
Yeah, not at all.
Apparently,
it'd be fun for me.
Yeah, it would be fun for me too. But one, I don't think the Titans team is really built to like really blow out teams. You know, we're still that ground and pound team. We want to chew clock, and we want to end of the day we want to come out with a W, which is what we've been doing.
We want to control the game, and I felt like we did control the game, but we were trying to control the game with a 4-point lead, and then boom, AJ Green happens, and oh god, we're completely controlling this game, and we're losing now, which is completely frustrating.
The problem with the style of play we do is that crazy things happening in the NFL. Like a crazy play can happen, a crazy turnover can happen, all of a sudden that can flip the entire momentum to where in this game, Titans had almost double the amount of offensive plays the Bengals did, and we only won by 4. They were up with 4 minutes left in the fourth before we went on that game-clinching drive, and we had almost doubled them in offensive plays. That's insane, but that's just how the NFL goes.
We ran 84 plays.
84 plays. It should have been a blowout. I would like to see us improve on this, but like I said, as long as we're getting the W, I don't think the coaches are going to just overlook it and be like, everything was dandy. I think they're going to find those holes, correct those mistakes, and we get better while at the same time celebrating the W.
And I just found this stat, and it kind of just like stopped me in my tracks. Time of possession, are you kidding me? 40 minutes for the Titans, 20 for the Bengals. We doubled them in time of possession. And I know a lot of that has to do with their touchdowns coming in quick strikes, one to AJ Green. Short field, yeah. After Mariota's interception, which was awful, they had the ball at the 3-yard line and punched it in pretty much immediately. Yeah. So they got points quickly. We took our time in getting our points, but still, that stat alone shows that we had that feeling that we were controlling this game. We just couldn't ice it or put it away. So yeah. Anyway, let's. There's a lot of questions. Let's go. Yeah. What was that question? What did we just answer?
Well, he was just talking about how the Titans have not been able to really blow out teams that they should have been. You know, we let the teams hang around to where, oh no, one big play like the AJ Green 70-yard touchdown can all of a sudden give the Bengals the lead in a game that we've dominated statistically, possession, time of possession, just in every category.
Yeah. And they were shooting themselves in the foot too. They had 12 penalties on the game, and I remember lots of third downs whenever we were driving, and that saved our drives. They had a lot of defensive holdings and illegal contacts, just an ugly, very undisciplined team.
Blake C. actually mentioned what we were talking about, saying, would you believe that the Titans had 400-plus yards of offense, ran 80-plus plays, and then you looked at the final score and we only won by 4 points? Yeah, it is hard to believe, but I think the W is the most important stat in that category there. Yeah. We'll correct the other ones. These two questions dealing with kind of the same thing. You just mentioned Mariota's turnover, so we'll talk about some Mariota right here. First off, from Kenneth Crawl, he says, how would you grade Mariota's performance? He led us on an amazing game-winning drive, as if there was any doubt he wouldn't. He also had that Davis touchdown touchback and the Matthews drop TD. That being said, he missed a bunch of throws and was barely over 50% completion rate. And then Farsender said, should we be concerned about Mariota throwing bad interceptions? Like the wide receivers aren't even close to catching those bad passes. So both questions about Mariota's performance today. He was 25 of 44, 264 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That 1 touchdown coming on the final drive to DeMarco Murray, which was more of DeMarco Murray's effort, honestly, than the actual throw.
Yeah. I don't know. It is weird. He does have some bad interceptions, and it's almost becoming like a consistent thing now. But that's like it's a consistent one terrible play throughout the course of a game. I think Mariota is playing much, much, much better than what his stats show. Like, he's not playing like lights out, elite QB, Drew Brees, Tom Brady level quarterback, but
or even like it was last year, putting up the great stats.
Yeah. I don't know if he's playing as well as he was last year, but he's not playing terrible. Like he's still playing great. He made some throws today that were unbelievable, and he should have had 2 more touchdowns to his statistics with Matthews and Davis.
Yeah.
Like he was getting it done for us. He did have to have some inaccurate passes. He had a few throwaways, so maybe that dropped his completion percentage a little bit. The thing that concerns me about Mariota is, and it kind of goes along with our pass protection, is that when the pocket collapses, I still see the panic, and he's not sure where to go with the ball, and the read option, and when he keeps it on the read option and it's not there, he just kind of buckles up and folds and falls down. Every time Mariota gets sacked, it feels like it's for a minimum of 7 yards of a loss. Like, it's like devastating every single time he gets sacked. He's like backs up, he sees the pressure come in, and then he goes down. So that's the main thing I see from Mariota as far as overall quarterback play. Not so much his accuracy and throwing the football. I think he's still got a great arm. I think he's one of the most accurate QBs in the NFL. I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was during our final drive when he threw a pass in the end zone to Matthews.
Oh, yeah,
and he squeezed it in between coverage. Like 3 guys, and it would have been a tough catch, but it still hit Matthews in the hands.
I saw that, and I'm like, honestly, Matthews should have caught that. It hit him right in between the hands. Yes, it's a tough grab.
I'm sure Matthews was like, I can't believe he just fit this in here. And he just freaked out and dropped it. Yeah. Like, it was a crazy good throw. There are not many quarterbacks in the league that can do that. And then he had his as is now tradition, great seam pass to Delaney Walker down the middle of the field on that final drive. They've perfected that, and I feel like they pull that out when they need it the most. And we've seen that 2 weeks now in a row in the final drive, a big pass to Delaney down the middle.
I mean, he's kind of like the team. He's making the plays he needs to make to win the game, especially at the clutch moments.
Yeah,
he's the leader we don't deserve, but we have. Yeah, he's not putting up.
We do deserve him. We've suffered so much lately as a franchise.
Yeah, we have.
But yeah, no one deserves Mariota. He's too good. He's too pure.
I think you were spot on where when you're saying that the stats don't really tell the story on him, because he's statistically he's not having a good year at all compared to other quarterbacks.
Fantasy owners probably hate him.
Yeah, especially since he was like the hot quarterback to draft in fantasy league.
He should have. But should be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you already mentioned the 2 touchdowns that he should have had. He should have had. Well, I think it ended up being a touchdown to DeMarco, but on that same drive, the one to Eric Decker, where they held him, that should have been a touchdown. Corey Davis, when he got held on that one play, that would have been a touchdown. I mean,
yeah, all these defensive holdings that we saw throughout the game, they probably could have been touchdown passes for Mariota, but Cincinnati, I don't know, took the holding. They're like, oh, this guy's about to get really open right now. I better hold him and save that.
I really liked how we're utilizing Mariota, especially early in this game, because I think one of the things Mariota does best is the run-pass options.
I think a lot of people are like, Malarkey and Robisky are holding back Mariota, but you like the utilization.
I mean, especially early in this game when we had Dory in there and Taywan Taylor.
Early in this game, like that was like this offense. This is what I need in my life.
Yes.
This is incredible.
I feel like he makes his best throws when he has the options to either hand it off, pull it down himself or throw it.
Yeah, like a triple option.
Yeah, like a triple option. I think they were even breaking it down at the halftime of the game, which I watched on TV. You didn't see, but how he was perfectly dissecting those read pass option plays. And I think he's really accurate on those. He does at times have those just like, why was he throwing it there? Or like just grossly overthrew that guy. He had it in the Ravens game, just overthrew someone. Threw it to Eric Weddle, basically.
Yeah, it was a better pass to Eric Weddle than the receiver.
I mean, he's still young. He's still a young quarterback, and I hate making that as an excuse because you see Carson Wentz in his second year, and he's like MVP status number-wise and leading the best team in the league, arguably. But, not every quarterback develops at that rate, and Mariota, we don't need that in the offense. I mean, I think we want it, but I think Mariota is running the offense well. He's commanding it, and he's getting done what the
coaches are asking. Yeah. And that could be attributed. He's just good at pretty much everything. Like if there is a coach out there, if there's like a Doug Peterson, or a lot of people say Chip Kelly from the Oregon connection, if he was our offensive coordinator, Mariota would have 40 touchdowns every season if that were the case, which, I mean, we don't know that.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetically, it could be true. If you told me Mariota would have, 7 touchdown passes after, nine
he has
games?
1 touchdown more than interceptions thrown, I believe.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Not a great TD to INT ratio, but, like, look at our record. We have the best record through 9 games since 2008.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to be that critical. Like, yes, Mariota's a star. We're biased, but I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a franchise quarterback, and it would be nice to see him, putting up the numbers that other franchise quarterbacks have. Or
Titans just don't get that kind of recognition on any. The team doesn't. The players don't. I mean, if you look at the previous 2 years, Mariota's the things he needed to work on were the turnovers, cleaning up the turnovers. Yeah, he only has 7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, but overall, his turning the ball over has definitely improved. All his turnovers don't go for touchdowns every time, like they did last year. 2, he's a lot smarter on, like I said, the read pass options, but especially when he runs the ball, either on a busted play to tuck it and run it. I think he's smarter about getting down, sliding, getting the yards he needs, or turning it on when he needs to, and diving for the end zone in the fourth quarter.
That's probably the most aggressive run I've ever seen from Mariota, when he dove in. Because he can get pretty conservative when he's running, and he'll just waltz out of bounds or something, avoid contact. But he was going for it. Like the dude's a leader, and he's serious, and he wanted to win that game badly, and you could tell. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think this was probably the gutsiest performance Mariota's had.
And you see his inconsistencies during the game, but who out there, when we got the ball back with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, down by how much we were down by at that point? 3 points,
20-17.
I mean, everyone's like, Mariota's about to lead us on this touchdown drive to seal the game.
He gives you that confidence. Yeah, he's that quarterback that, like, we're losing. We have one drive to do this, or we're going to lose. I would almost take that. I mean, if you're like, Justin, here, you haven't watched the game yet, but here's the situation. Titans down by, we were down by 3, but you need a touchdown to win the game. Fast forward through the fourth quarter. You have 2 minutes left. Do you take that situation? Sure. Yeah. I have lots of confidence in Mariota.
Very, very Steve McNair-esque. Yeah. Outside of the one MVP year Steve McNair had, his numbers were never great compared to the other top-tier quarterbacks in the league. But when the game was on the line and McNair had the ball, he's going to lead the team down to win that game. Yeah. And I think Mariota, especially this year, is in that same boat. I think, we're still trying to fit. I know we're what's our record now? 9 games in?
6-3. It's a huge deal.
It's been a long day.
6-3, man. Yeah, it has been a long day for you.
I know we're 9 games into the year, but we're still trying to figure out the pieces we have on offense. Obviously, we're trying new stuff with Adoree in certain sets and Taywan Taylor in certain sets.
There's so many pieces.
This is really Corey Davis's 3rd full game back. I mean, he played game 1 and he missed the next 7 straight games. So, we're still trying to figure out the pieces we have and how they work together.
You even said, or was it you that said this, that you can kind of already tell that Corey Davis is already making a difference in how defenses are almost playing us. Just him being on the field and what he's capable of and dictating coverage a little bit. I think him being out there does affect defenses because he can do things that our other receivers can't do.
Yeah, and I think that'll continue as he finds more of a footing in the offense. His fumble sucked today, but I like to see that from him, from a young guy. Especially, I can say that now that we ended up winning the game and it didn't cost us.
For sure.
I like to see that aggressiveness. I think he's going to be a weapon for this offense. So I'm looking for the offense to continue to improve. Mariota, everyone. Anything else on that? It's funny. We actually had a question from, you mentioned, the Chip Kelly. Someone said, Voltaire Wade Green says, can we talk about the lethargic play calling? I'd love for us to get Chip Kelly in there as an O coordinator or play caller, and let's get Mariota back to the production we saw in college. I don't think that's what this Titans team is. We'd all like to see the Titans pouring on 40 to 50 points a game like the freaking Los Angeles Rams, but I mean, it's not who we are at this moment.
And part of it is, I guess it does feel like we get comfortable whenever we have a lead, and that does suck. Like sometimes you need to pour it on, especially in the NFL when one play can turn a game around. Like if we had that Corey Davis touchdown, went up 24-13, then that one play, big play to AJ Green, going for 70 yards for a touchdown to make it 24-20, doesn't seem like as big of a deal. And I'm sure it wouldn't have played out in that exact same way had Corey Davis scored. But still, you see my point in that we need to continue to put up points, not get lethargic, and to stay aggressive and do things that we were doing earlier in the game. That gave us the lead in the first place.
Yeah, I think you kind of answered it right here. But Jerry Reinhardt asked, what is it going to take for our offense to become more effective?
Consistency and staying aggressive, I guess I would say. Keeping the defense on their heels and unsure of what they're going to do. Like when we get the lead, I feel like defenses are like, okay, they're probably going to run the ball or something. Let's stack the box and just... Yeah,
we definitely tend to sit on the ball too much with a lead. I think, Malarkey's like, oh, we get the lead by, any amount. And it's like, now we can just pound it out, go on these long, sustained 10 to 12 play.
Our defense is
7 to 8
well.
minute drives.
We can trust our defense. And
yes.
Even so, if you have that mindset, but any defense is capable of at any time of giving up a big play, especially when you have an elite receiver on the other side of the field.
Yes. V true. So a lot of questions about our offense, because it looked great at first and then it definitely stuttered. I'd really like to see what they're doing with the Dory and Taywan. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but I believe that's what we said. One thing we talked about in last week's recap episode about what they should do with the offense is get Adoree more involved, get Taywan Taylor on some runs and passes, which we saw this week.
Loved seeing Taywan Taylor's catches in the first half and getting him involved. That was big to see, because he can kind of disappear at times, and then the defense lines up against Taywan Taylor. They're not sure what they're going to see, and I think we can exploit that.
Well, he has gotten bumped down the wide receiver depth chart with Corey Davis being fully healthy, but I like to see him utilized in the running game, even as a decoy, and especially Adoree Jackson. The change of pace those guys give us, as opposed to DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, I think really make it hard on defenses, and I think we can... We saw Adoree run once against the Ravens, and we're like, why didn't we do that more? Well, this was the game we saw it worked in even more with Adoree and with Taywan, even to some, beautiful read options where Mariota, one time on Mariota's long run, he faked it to Adoree, took off for 28 yards. The next time...
He was already 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he's still getting a pitch back. But, it worked.
And then the next time he did pitch it to Adoree, who ran up the side for 10 yards. That's where Pac-Man hit Marcus and got his concussion. From Marcus's kidney. I don't know. Hawaiians must have really hard kidneys, because
that is a
somehow it caused
of
Pac-Man a concussion. But I like, that's what I think we need to do more of. I think we need to just mix it up, keep it fresh, work all these weapons we have in, not get too stagnant.
Talking about Adoree Jackson being in there. I think the last time he touched the ball, it did go for a 2 or 3 yard loss. And I feel like, we probably are kind of overdoing this Adoree Jackson in the scheme. Splash him in once, maybe twice, but you can't get too greedy with something like that. And I'm also going to now go off on a tangent about Adoree Jackson. How about this guy contributing in all 3 phases of the game as a rookie? That's unbelievable. He's making an impact on offense, defense, and special teams. That's ridiculous. This guy a super exciting player to watch. And, man, he had some big pass breakups today on defense. I thought this was probably the best overall game Adoree Jackson's had. Not his best game in returning the football, but like he had some nice runs on offense, and I thought he played well and tackled well, too, on defense.
You know, it's funny you said whatever, that's the best game you think Adoree's had. I feel like we've been saying that every week almost. The guy's getting better, and you know, a lot of people thought he was a reach at 18. I'll be honest, I didn't really know who he was that much coming out of college, because I don't pay that close attention to college football until right before the draft and kind of getting to know some of the top players. But I mean, John Robinson quickly shored up 2 needs on the team immediately with 1 player, special teams and cornerback. He's developing into a great corner, I think, so far. I know he's still got stuff to work on, but he's definitely helped our return game, which I am very pro on, if you ever heard me talk about last year. And now even working him in on the offense. The guy is like a triple threat on all aspects of the ball. I don't think you can get more production from one other guy in the NFL. Yeah, really.
He's like he adds so much value to the team. Like value is the key word. If we lose Adoree Jackson, we lose a lot of components on this team.
A lot. This is sticking with the defense. We haven't talked about the defense a lot. But, yes, and we need to talk about the defense more. Where is this question? Where's this question, yo? Where's that question you asked me? Oh, here. Stephen Young said... Steven. Oh, wait, crap.
Not Steve.
Oh, he says, do you think it's too early to get on the Kevin Byard hype train? I don't know. I really am tempted to buy his jersey. Love the kid.
Too early?
It's too late to get on the Kevin Byard hype train.
Byard hype train is happening right now. Everybody's excited about Kevin Byard. I can't even speak.
It is full steam ahead right now, running over anyone in his path. I did think he made more mistakes.
They had those 2 long touchdown drives, and I did see Kevin Byard. He wasn't... up close to the line of scrimmage. He was playing at the back, far behind safety spots. So, looks like he did have some mistakes in coverage.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect game like he played the last few games. He was definitely in on that blown coverage to LaFell, somehow
whether
involved.
Whether it was his fault or not, but he was
on that side of the field, back there. Yeah. And then... he missed a tackle on A.J. Green. I don't know if any safety could really have made that tackle one-on-one in the open field with A.J. Green running full speed at that angle.
You just got to take that. Like next week against the Steelers, Antonio Brown may go for 10 catches for 100 yards, and that's just going to happen. It doesn't mean your defense is playing bad overall, but like some players just make plays, and they're just ridiculously hard to stop for I think a full 60 minutes.
Kevin Byard is becoming that playmaker on our defense. I mean, I think he's one reason for the resurgence of our secondary. I think quarterbacks now, I mean, he's leading the league in interceptions. When the quarterback looks out at the secondary, I don't think you want to start throwing it to Kevin Byard's side anymore, which really narrows what an offense can do. And then you look at... I think Logan Ryan has been solid the past 4 to 5 games. Yeah, he gave up the big play to A.J. Green. Adoree Jackson's coming along. This secondary is coming a long way from...
I saw LaShawn Sims make some plays too.
Yeah. He didn't have the pick 6 like he did in our Madden challenge, the 105-yard pick 6 to seal the game. But, they've come a long way from the Parrish Cox, Jason McCourty.
Antoine Blake.
Yeah, guys we've seen... last year, so appreciate them. They're still going to make
Sensabaugh, Bleedy Ray Wilson. I could go on.
Keep going. No, don't. I don't want to hear those names ever again in Titans lore.
Oh man.
But tough. Jump on the Kevin Byard hype train, Mr.
He still
Stephen
made
Young.
plays. He still broke up passes. He shot in the backfield, tackled Joe Mixon for a loss. He's still a good tackler. Yeah, I know you mentioned his missed tackle on A.J. Green, but he's an all-around safety who can do it all. Very versatile.
Leading and a ball hawk.
Yeah. Totally. I'm sure he's still leading the league in
I think
interceptions.
He is. And he should have had one more today, I think. It might have been on the Hail Mary, but he should have caught it. Dang it. I want to see him catch it now. I want to get him up there at 10 to 12
keep
picks
adding
again.
to that number.
But yes, get on the Kevin Byard hype train. And yes, if you buy a jersey, buy an extra one for me.
And me. So
you get the Brett Kern jersey, remember?
Okay. Yes. I'm excited about Brett Kern. Another great day punting. He punted for over 330 yards. What a baller.
Hello. Okay. Moving on. A few last questions. Isaac Luna asks if with all of our offensive weapons, should we play our rookies more? Also, well, okay, I'm not going to read the second question because it was ill-informed, but...
What you
nothing.
mean?
He asked what will we do when Tajay Sharp comes back. Don't got to worry about that till next year because he's missing this whole year due to being on IR before the season got started. So well, he got put on it before the season started, so if that happens, you can't bring him back. I mean, we use Taywan Taylor more, which everyone's been asking.
So we want to see our rookies more. I saw Corey Davis on there at like almost every single time we had 2 wide receivers on the field. He was one of the 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, so he got a lot more targets this game. I think the more targets he gets, the more plays he's going to make. He's still getting to the speed of the game, but
he had like 10 targets but came up with 4 catches, so not sure what maybe the issue was with that. Maybe Mariota was just trying to force feed him.
It looked like he was. Some of those throws, like on the sideline, they were kind of force feeding. He was tightly covered. He would have had. I mean, if he had caught those balls, it would have been like, oh my gosh, more crazy Corey Davis catches.
Yeah, he kind of did have a crazy catch on the sideline. I think when Mariota was throwing out of his own end zone, Corey Davis, I think, turned his head around for like 0.1 seconds to react to the ball in his face, and he was able to come down with the catch. He's got great concentration.
I like seeing the targets he's getting. I want to keep on seeing those because I have faith that he's going to keep on making great catches and great plays, especially once he gets more up to speed with the NFL game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's adapting. Well, he's adapting better than his peers, John Ross and Mike Williams.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
As far as top 10 picks goes. But there's other rookie receivers balling out like Juju Smith-Schuster and Cooper Kupp. But anyway, Corey Davis is still
he's been injured most of the season.
Talent.
Yes, okay, I'm trying to find more Twitter questions here that are relevant
you're scrolling up
to
and down.
the game. Kenneth Eric Coons asked, which is actually what Amy, my wife, asked during the game.
Man, they should get together.
Why won't my fantasy league let me pick up a Dory Jackson?
That's a funny, good point.
I would also like you to talk about the last drive, and everyone needs to apologize to DeMarco Murray. 3 touchdowns, and he's an amazing lead blocker.
How far into this recap are we without really giving it the true due praise and probably who deserves the game ball the most? Is DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, we need to apologize to DeMarco because he just proved. I know he didn't have. He had the 3 touchdowns, but you look at his rushing stats: 14 carries for 51 yards. Not eye-popping. Mm-hmm. But the guy, man, does so many things for the Titans: receiving, blocking, catching.
And I was very pissed at Derrick Henry. I don't know if this was his responsibility, but he gave up a bad sack and hit. I feel like because it was a play-action play. Mariota faked it to Derrick Henry, and then a defensive lineman ran right by him, and he was like, "Oh man, whiff." Maybe was he supposed to pick that guy up? I would like to think so. If there's a guy that's running right by you and it's a play action play, freaking take him out. And he missed a block. I felt like it just looked bad for Derrick Henry, whether that was his responsibility or not.
DeMarco Murray just played. I mean, it's almost like you got to have him in there every single down. The intangibles he has, and then just the grit and power. Yeah, he's been banged up this year, and he's still out there breaking tackles. His first touchdown run, he should have been tackled at the line or in the backfield. He breaks 2 touchdowns, gets in. I don't even know how he gets the ball across the line without his knees going down on that final game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, man. I'm sure I've watched the replay a few times, but man, the veteran savvy and knowing what to do, because there were 3 defenders.
Yeah.
There were 3 defenders he had to get around. He made one guy miss, he ducked under another, and then he stretched out, keeping his knees off the ground to get a touchdown. There's not many players that has that kind of presence of mind to be able to do all of those things and get the ball in the end zone on a must-score touchdown situation.
I mean, for this Titans team, he is irreplaceable right now.
Oh, yeah.
You can't – if he were to go out and Derrick Henry became our lead back, I don't think we would see the same kind of things from Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. Not to hate on Derrick Henry, because I think he's a strong runner and a good asset to the team.
He had some good runs today.
DeMarco Murray. He doesn't do all the things DeMarco does.
Right.
And the passing game and the receiving game.
Even all those crazy, weird trickery plays to Dory Jackson or Taywan Taylor, DeMarco's out there throwing the blocks.
Lead blocking, yeah. It's crazy. So, yes, great point out, Kenneth. I'm sorry that we missed that earlier. Yeah. We've kind of been bouncing around with all these Twitter questions.
Yeah. DeMarco Murray, our number 1 running back. People that are calling for Derrick Henry to start on this team need to back off just a little bit. Because DeMarco, I think you said it perfectly. Irreplaceable is probably the best word to have for DeMarco.
Yeah. Cody asked a question about the refs. He said, Cody Maholan says, scale of 1 to 10, how trigger happy would you say the refs were about throwing them flags today?
There were a few flags thrown. I don't know. They had more flags thrown against them. Like, they had 12, and I think we had 5.
Yeah, I was trying to find the exact penalty numbers.
It went in our favor.
Yeah.
It honestly went in our favor for the most part. And they threw out Vontaze Burfict after he brushed off the hand of an official. I saw a replay of it.
Very Taylor Lewan-esque.
It was very Taylor Lewan, so it doesn't surprise me. Like, yes, that's a weak call, a weak rule, but it is a rule. Like, you can't touch the official, and you just have to have that presence of mind. Like, yeah, this guy touching me isn't official. I shouldn't just knock his hand down.
I mean, and that's just like, there's no gray area for that rule, honestly. If you start getting in the gray area with that rule of like, oh, well, he didn't really aggressively touch the official, that could lead to bad things down the road for the officiating crew. So I think, one, this was funny. Side note about Vontaze Burfict. We had a note to mention him in our preview episode. We forgot. And we're like, crap, we should have mentioned him. All he did today was give us 30 yards of penalty and get himself ejected like in the first quarter.
So it didn't matter that we didn't cover him at all. So
yeah, we should have been.
Difference.
Yeah, thanks for those 30 yards, Vontaze. See you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and just his history and his reputation does not help. He's got a guy like him has to be extra careful. Just like Lewan, Lewan has to be extra careful in what he does and being aggressive, getting in players' faces because he's got a history of personal fouls. Didn't he have another one today, Lewan?
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't even know what he did.
It was on the first drive, but we still overcame it.
We overcame it. Yeah, we tweeted about that. Right.
Kyle Pelletier asked, he feels like Malarkey is setting us up for a playoff run. Yes, obviously with how the season's going.
You know how cool it would be if how like true that could be if Malarkey was like, yeah, let's just run this like crap for the season until we get to the playoffs, and then we're gonna unleash all this stuff that we have planned.
That's what it looks like it's happening.
We have like two different playbooks, one for the playoffs, one for here.
I mean, I do think with the playbook with the injuries we've been dealing with, like Corey Davis finally getting back, trying to get him up to speed. The offensive coordinator, Robisky and Malarkey, have been very, very timid and slow at like really bringing along the team to its full force. Yeah. They've been really careful and cautious. You know, I think just before the Ravens game, Robisky was like, yeah, we'll finally open up the playbook a little more for Mariota.
It's like now? The 8th game in the season.
Yeah. I would like to see the team be more aggressive, but I think they're playing for the long term. You know, they're playing for that. And knowing
it's kind of
they're
risky. The playoffs aren't guaranteed. You can't look that far ahead.
Yeah, like, I mean,
win the games that you have to in the regular season, doing what you got to do.
But that's what they're doing, and then still wanting more to be desired. So I think if there's a knock on them, they're doing it a little too slow. They sit on the ball a little too much. You know, I think we're seeing more and more of the playbook open up as we move along. I think all the fans would like to see us, like I said, turn on and score 40 points a game. But as long as we're getting the W's and moving forward, I don't think you can complain.
And, you know, I thought about this earlier, and you just reminded me. There was a quote from, I think it was Dre Kirkpatrick, cornerback from the Bengals. He did say in a press conference that he was kind of thrown off and surprised by all the different looks and formations that the Titans were utilizing in the game. And he even said that he thought the offensive coordinator for the Titans did a good job, which is kind of shocking to even hear an opposing player give that kind of respect to how the game plan went for the Titans in this game. Yeah. And like I said... And some things don't even make sense. How many times did like Derrick Henry split out wide? I saw that a few times. I don't know if you saw that on TV, but I was looking and Derrick Henry runs out here, and DeMarco did it too, but I don't know. DeMarco can run for a pass. He's proven a capable receiver. But like we'll line up like a trips package with our 3 receivers, then Delaney will be over here, and then far wide will be Derrick Henry. I don't know what good that does. We're not going to throw any routes.
The go route to Derrick Henry in the Super Bowl, people.
Jump ball for a touchdown.
Jump ball, Derrick Henry, fade route, back of the end zone, toe tap, and grab for the win.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not a coach. I'm just a fan watching. But, man, yeah. Props to Robisky. Even the Bengals defensive players were like, man, we don't know what they're doing. It's unexpected.
Jab and Shelton asked, why does every Titans game lead me into almost having a heart attack? Yeah, it does us too.
I feel you.
I mean, I'm only 12 years old, and look what the Titans season team has done to me. I got like a mustache. I have a puberty. I'm married. It made me get married.
You're gonna die when you're like 28.
Yeah. That's about all the questions we had for this game, I think.
Did you get to all of them? I don't want to leave anyone out.
Okay, well, if you don't want to leave anyone out, Luke Worsham, if you could trade asked if you could trade Kevin Dodd for Von Miller, would you do it?
No, because Kevin Dodd is a Titan, and I'm loyal to my Titans players. Who am I kidding? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Funny question. What's up, Luke?
Octavius Kite asks, how do I get on an episode of Titans Tube to talk Titans football?
Become a patron and donate $500 a month.
That'll do it.
Sure that
if you do it, we will let you on. Juan Ortega asks, do you think we beat Pitt next week? We will talk about that in our preview episode. But spoiler alert, yes. I think we're going to beat Pitt on Thursday night and really become one of the top teams in the AFC, right?
We were talking about this right before we started this podcast. Like, just imagine a scenario where we beat Pittsburgh, which is a tall task, but I think it's doable if we come out and execute and play to our potential. We are almost setting ourselves up to not only making the playoffs, but getting a top seed and maybe a first-round bye, because you got Kansas City and New England, who each have 3 losses, correct? Or does New England have 2?
New England has 2. Kansas City has 3.
But Kansas City's kind of regressing. But Pittsburgh's currently one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC, and they are only 1 game ahead of us.
Yeah,
so taking them down would be kind of like mind-blowing in our positioning for the playoff race.
They almost blew it to the Colts today. Barely won in overtime, Pittsburgh. So what is going on?
Both teams are coming off up and down emotional games, and they've got to turn it around in 4 days. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting game. I think I don't know. We'll talk about it in the preview.
We will. I thought this is a big win. I thought this was almost kind of a possibly another trap game for the Titans, kind of like the Browns was, because I thought the Ravens and the Steelers are definitely the 2 powerhouses of the AFC North. We came off a big one to the Ravens, and all of a sudden you're looking. I know we were already talking about it. You're looking ahead to that big Thursday night matchup against the Steelers in primetime, and you're like, oh, crap, we got to still take care of business against Cincy, which we did. Now we can look ahead to Pittsburgh and that huge primetime matchup on Thursday on the short week.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Can't wait to look ahead. Man, if you can rant for a little bit, maybe answer one more question. I've got to go to the bathroom
wrap it up.
right now.
I think everyone for the last 20 minutes probably could tell that you needed to go pee. You can just not hold it any longer.
It's just pure excitement.
No, I think that's about all we got. Thanks for all the questions.
6-3, love our positioning. Could we look better in the eyeball test? Sure, but man, this is an even funner season than last year. We're looking.
Yes.
We're tied for first in the AFC.
Last question. Freightzilla asked, do you have hopes for or wish on next year uniform change?
Hopes or wish what?
Do you have any hopes for the uniform change for next year?
I mean, I like the uniforms right now as is. I don't think they're out of date necessarily.
I think we got that question last week, and we were like, as long as we're winning, I don't care what the uniforms look like. As long as they don't look like Halloween costumes like the Cincinnati Bengals do.
Like the Browns had a recent uniform change. Don't like it. Don't like the Jags' new uniforms with the gold-black helmet.
It's not supposed to be anything drastic, I don't think. So I think it'll be similar, little mix-up on colors and stuff. Okay,
I'm gonna go pee my pants.
You go pee your pants. That's going to wrap it up here for us at Titans Tube. Thank you for watching. I'm sure we missed some stuff in recapping the game, but it's another big win for the Titans over the AFC North. Like,
subscribe, become a patron.
Become a patron. Check that link in the description below. We would very greatly appreciate it so that we can keep on making these videos. And welcome Master Chief to the podcast. Justin cannot hold his bladder any longer. He is out, and I think that means we have been rambling way too long. Thank you for watching. Peace out and tighten up.